Episode 1. Recently, people have been raising a question. If you were to cross over to the other side, where would your social media account go? Most people think those ghost accounts would just be abandoned and never updated again. But the truth is, they are still active and conceal an incredibly horrific story in this era where everyone loves to glue their eyes to their screens. The main character is no exception. He extremely enjoys watching violent content. The channel he often watches is rated by many as the trash of society. Suddenly raiding someone's house to cause trouble and then running away quickly is truly cowardly. Although a bit disappointed, the young man ignores it and continues to farm views. Actually, Soji is the owner of that channel, the one posting that trash content on social media. Thanks to these controversial contents, he earns a lot of money from viewers. Although his personality is a bit impulsive, Soji is very worried about his younger sister who is currently hospitalized. Seeing her brother visit with a bag of pastries in his hand, the little girl immediately questioned him and found out that Soji had eaten 6 sweet cakes before coming here. "Are you planning to eat cakes instead of rice? You can't do anything without me." After scolding him, she opened the cake box to eat but suddenly had a coughing fit. Soji saw that and intended to press the button to call the nurse, but the girl stopped him. "Sorry for troubling you," she said. Although heartbroken, Soji still had to force a smile to encourage his sister to keep trying. "In 1 month, we will go to America and ask the doctors there to perform the surgery. You will recover soon, don't worry. You don't need to worry about money matters because I found a part-time job with a high salary." In the past, Soji was taught by an old man at the orphanage not to live in a way that causes trouble for others. However, the main character did the opposite because if being kind earned a lot of money, he would have done it already. Even if he is hated by all of humanity, Soji doesn't care. As long as his sister is healthy, he will do anything. He is ready to post dirty content on social media to earn money for her treatment. A month later, viewers were surprised to see Soji's channel had disappeared. Because he retired so abruptly, many people rumored that the young man had been arrested and sent to a reformatory school for kids addicted to phones. The truth is, Soji is still living in his rented house and enjoying his favorite flan cake. Above all, he feels extremely happy knowing the news that his sister's health is increasingly changing positively. The day the little girl returns to Japan to reunite with him is coming very close. That night, while sleeping, the young man suddenly panicked, realizing someone had broken into his house to attack him. Soji hurriedly dodged to one side, continuously asking who the other person was, but he kept avoiding the question. The guy called himself Kukuri and swung his hammer again and again as if he wanted to take the boy's life at all costs. Out of options, Soji had to risk his life to pick up his phone and run outside. He scrambled to update the situation for his sister and began to feel bewildered. Why did that guy only target his phone? Just as he was intending to call the police, Kukuri appeared and attacked again. Soji quickly raised his leg to block the blow and continued to question him. He constantly threw attacks to force him to speak, but the opponent only aimed at the phone. Why on earth did he go to such lengths? Kukuri rested his hammer and said, "I watched your channel. Your trashy content makes me extremely uncomfortable." Hearing that, Soji immediately bowed down to apologize profusely. "Are you a family member of the guy I beat up? Making dirty content to earn money, it's only right that people take revenge." Soji was ready to let the opponent take out his anger on him freely, but please spare the phone so he could still contact his sister. Kukuri didn't give a damn and was determined to destroy it at all costs. "You'd better wake up because your sister has been dead for a month." Soji didn't believe it, stubbornly thinking she was still alive. "She is still texting me right there." In fact, his own eyes had seen his sister pass away right on the hospital bed. Soji had witnessed everything, but still didn't believe it was the truth. He skipped the funeral and just kept sending messages in hopelessness. The little girl must still be alive. There's no reason for that to happen. Amidst despair, his sister's account unexpectedly became active and sent a message. Looking at the way of texting, Soji was sure this was not an imposter. "I am her only relative, so I know her very well." When he saw his sister appear through the screen with her familiar voice, Soji blindly believed that the girl was living inside the phone. Taking advantage of the opening, Kukuri did not hesitate to smack the phone away. After that, he ran over to deliver a finishing blow, but it didn't break. Through the phone, the younger sister suddenly appeared, Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for always raising me. Soji was moved, thinking the two were about to be reunited when the girl started to transform. He worriedly intended to run over to check but was stopped by Kukuri. That thing is no longer your sister. The thing that has been texting you all this time is a ghost. They often appear in places where the dead still have lingering attachments. Currently, phones are their new trend. Accounts of the deceased on social media are often called dead accounts. After explaining, Kukuri grumpily turned back to blame him for everything. Because you messed up, I have to suffer. Do you know that? Since the ghost had revealed itself, physical attacks would no longer be effective, so the young man was forced to perform an exorcism through the phone. The opponent is a digitized ghost, so prayer beads or crosses have no effect. To purify them, one also needs to digitize spiritual power. Looking at the guy pulling a giant hammer out of the phone, Soji felt it was hard to believe. As for Kukuri, he didn't expect the opponent could see his hammer of justice. It seems that guy also has some spiritual aptitude. While the ghost still had one leg stuck in the phone, Kukuri rushed in to exorcise it by knocking on its head repeatedly. Seeing it in pain and having no strength to resist, he immediately unleashed a Justice Gangup move, weakening the ghost completely. At the moment Kukuri prepared to launch the final blow to send it to the underworld, the wraith desperately called out "brother," making Soji's heart weaken. He shed tears and held on tight, begging Kukuri not to hurt his sister. "It was so hard for us to meet again, please don't delete her." Kukuri angrily told Soji to open his eyes and look. Everyone has to go through the pain of losing a loved one, not just you. We are forced to accept it to continue living. While both were not paying attention, the ghost successfully escaped. Soji saw that and went over to soothe his sister's anger. But because of his stubbornness, Kukuri was smacked by the ghost and stuck to a pole. The phone was lying right in front of his eyes, but he couldn't move, so the only way was to yell at the other guy to run away quickly. Until the very last minute, Soji still stubbornly believed that the hideous thing was his sister, ending up being scooped up like a piece of meat and carried away. Only when looking back did Soji sadly realize that he was the one holding her back in this world. "I know what you are still regretting. You can't die and leave me alone, right?" He agonizingly wanted to let go of everything, to feel lighter. But his sister's voice echoed in his ears, not allowing Soji to give up. "You must be strong and tough." Just as Kukuri said, we must accept it to continue living, no matter how painful it is. At that very moment, Soji rallied his spirit along with a determination to resist. He rushed down, put his hand into the phone, and pulled out a green flame, making Kukuri stunned. That guy awakened his power right in this situation? Not to mention the green flame he possesses? Soji bitterly confessed that he was a lousy brother, who couldn't even cook a proper meal, but she didn't need to worry anymore. "From now on, I promise to eat exactly one sweet cake every day. I will live independently, so you can rest assured." Finishing his words, Soji rushed to finish off the ghost with the green flame amidst a screaming sound. He gritted his teeth, trying to suppress his emotions until he saw his sister slowly fading away in contentment. After witnessing that scene, Soji screamed and cried, then fainted without realizing it. At the scene, everyone was extremely surprised to see Kukuri beaten black and blue, while Soji had to purify his own sister with his own hands. It was truly pitiful. The main character awakened the fire element, so he is classified as an attacker. But hearing Kukuri say Soji's electric flame was green, the whole group was astonished and left it for the teacher to solve. The teacher, of course, wanted Soji to join the academy without any hesitation. Whether that place will be a school or a grave depends on him. Startled awake in his rented room, Soji felt relieved knowing it was all just a nightmare. But seeing Kukuri sitting there drinking tea, the young man felt disappointed because it wasn't a dream. "Has my sister been purified?" Kukuri returned the phone and explained that what he saw yesterday was the truth. Dead accounts are social media accounts that have turned into ghosts. Once exorcised, that account also disappears. Hearing this, Soji reluctantly accepted that his sister was gone. "Anyway, I promised her, so I can't just keep moping around like this." Kukuri saw that and told the young man to stop acting cool. "Your smile looks very fake." After criticizing him, Kukuri went out and led Soji to the bathhouse, conveniently introducing that this is an academy for training spirit mediums, exorcists. Although no matter how you look at it, it looks like an inn. Soji was surprised, which makes sense because this boarding school is designed in the style of a hot spring inn for good luck. Since Kukuri failed in the exorcism yesterday, He was talked about by everyone wherever he went. However, there was still a female student who felt sorry for him and wanted to comfort him. And that blue-haired guy looked quite handsome too. Basically, a scandalous element worthy of being stoned. Most people kept their distance and didn't dare to make contact. Not knowing how the teacher would handle him after a while of visiting, Soji still couldn't imagine this place was a boarding school. Only an inn would have a counter, an entertainment room, and a gigantic hot spring. While soaking himself, Soji suddenly discovered his wounds had healed. When his body warmed up, he started missing his sister and teared up, while Kukuri was struggling not knowing where the teacher was hiding. Suddenly, he popped up from underwater to show off, intending to scare Soji, but instead, he got scolded by the student until he lost face. The teacher sadly shook hands, introducing himself as Asagi, very pleased to meet you. After bathing, he took the opportunity to relax his muscles and told Kukuri he didn't need to be so tense. However, the kid insisted on not wanting to stay with the person using blue fire. Asagi ignored him and turned to ask Soji if he found. Soji naively thought this guy was joking, so he laughed out loud as if it were true. Kukuri thought the teacher was deliberately provoking him, but that wasn't the case. Asagi was seriously wanting to invite this kid to enroll. A long time ago, spirit mediums had always fought evil spirits for thousands of years. Everything changed rapidly with the birth of the internet. The place where the dead linger shifted to the cyber world, and the nature of ghosts also changed. That is precisely why spirit power is no longer effective. Faced with that situation, the spirit medium world changed by digitizing spiritual energy through electronic devices. After lecturing for a while, Asagi panicked, realizing the kid had walked out without listening anymore. Don't you want to know what happens next? Soji apologized, but he didn't want to be involved with ghosts or spirit mediums anymore. That so-called electric power or spirit power, I don't care about it either. From now on, I will work normally to earn money to buy cakes. Soji's purpose in life was to help his sister recover, but she is gone now. Asagi saw that and wondered, don't you want to know the real reason behind your sister's death? She didn't simply die from illness. She was murdered by an extremely powerful dead account. That person specifically targets those who still have many regrets with the mortal world and kills them brutally. All his victims shed tears of blood. When knowing the truth, Soji couldn't suppress the hatred in his heart. He boiled with rage, wanting to track down that person to take revenge, but was mocked by the teacher. If you are weak and go out in the wind, you'll go meet your ancestors, kid. Although this smiling face doesn't look much like a teacher, he is still the homeroom teacher. No matter how much persuasion, it was useless, so Asagi set up a game. If you can defeat Kukuri, I will acknowledge you and tell you everything. The other guy was still bitter about yesterday's incident, so he wanted to take this opportunity to beat the opponent to a pulp. Sadly, the blockhead didn't care and just wanted to punch that cheeky teacher in the mouth. I'm not the target, you're chasing the wrong person. Also because he was too careless, Soji was knocked on the head by Kukuri once. Then he smirked provocatively. Beating you feels even better than that girl. Being hit where it hurts, Soji stood up, forcing the teacher to keep his word, and accepted the challenge. The fight between the two quickly attracted the attention of many students. Who on earth is that blue-haired guy? Usually if they want to cause trouble, they take the two to the training ground. But Asagi deliberately made both of them fight here for everyone to see. Soji is the type who knows how to fight, so he is very hard to take down. He skillfully dodged attacks and responded with dangerous blows. Kiyomi naturally dislikes violence, so she hated it openly. Her friend Hasumi took the chance to record a video, while Imoto was forced by everyone to intervene. While both sides were struggling fiercely, Soji somersaulted back to keep his distance but was suddenly whipped in the face by the extendable hammer. The two just kept trading blows while other teachers only came to watch. There, the four-eyed teacher quickly realized Soji belonged to the dangerous type that needed to be eliminated early. Knowing that, the principal still objected and wanted to observe more. His friends were too used to this scene, so they weren't very surprised. Taking advantage. If you need money, there are plenty of other ways. I bet you feel great getting attention from viewers. Without hesitation, Kukuri created a pile of hammers and threw them straight at him. After venting his anger, he satisfiedly apologized for overstepping. Seeing Soji lying on the floor, Asagi poked his head out to explain that this is electric power. No matter how good you are at fighting, you cannot confront it with bare hands. If you want to win, pick up the phone and use electric power. The moment the green flame flared up was also the moment the whole school was astonished. From students to teachers, everyone was bewildered to learn Soji possessed the fire. The green flame slithered like a snake, making many people terrified. Although rated as dangerous, Soji felt comfortable touching it. Right when allowed by the teacher to freely go wild, Soji gathered the fire into his legs and rushed to attack with unimaginable speed. After the fire went out, Soji wasn't sure why he thought of burning his legs. Did it again and quickly mastered the speed. Whenever the fire was about to go out, Soji would add more to maintain it. So this is the ability of the fire starter system. By doing that, Soji rushed down and swept a line across his face, scaring the opponent witless. Tense, but the teacher smiled very brightly. Although he really wanted to see more, Asagi had to end it right there. So he was cursed by his student as a virgin and fell into a state of depression. With this power, Soji was confident he could beat that guy. Seeing Kukuri about to deliver the finishing blow to the kid, after soothing the situation, he apologized for letting that thing run wild, causing Soji's sister to pass away. Soji bowed his head to admit his fault and accepted the teacher's request to enroll. I will get stronger too. Avenge my sister. Asagi was satisfied, welcoming the kid to the academy and giving him a sweet cake. Most people agreed without a word of complaint. Only the four-eyed teacher couldn't accept someone carrying that power in the school. Asagi smiled brightly, thinking everything had ended peacefully, then received the bill for damage repairs and was totally shocked.